speaking of special, this is a really big deal because we have a very special guest in Houston right now ahead of her sold-out show tonight at House of Blues. When tickets went on sale, sold out in 60 seconds.
She's a big deal.
Yeah, she's calling it the farewell tour, but her career is anything but over. In fact, it is only taking off for Heather McMahan.
That's right. Aside from appearances in movies and on TV, Heather McMahan's social media game is truly exploding with more than 400,000 followers and counting. Fans can't get enough of her upfront and honest humor.
And all these different characters. She can do anything, and she is a star on the rise. You got to keep an eye out for this woman. Heather McMahan, come on out. Welcome to Houston Life.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming out.
Oh, I'm sick.
We have a cocktail.
Have a cocktail.
Yes. I need y'all around all the time just to build me up like that. That was great. A star on the rise. I'll take it.
Yes, girl. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Welcome to Houston.
Thank you. It feels good to be back in the South, baby. I'll tell you what.
And you're from Atlanta.
I am, and I live in the great city of New York now. You know, just I'm hitting the subway, I'm getting chased by rats. It's a whole thing. Yeah. Good to be home. Good to be home.
I was really hoping you were going to do my makeup today, kind of like the contouring, and I was really hoping that was
you
gonna
look
have
good.
No, I love your tutorial.
Oh, you know what? I don't actually know what I'm doing. You know, as a Southerner, I went to Ole Miss, honey, hotty totty, and I thought I knew how to like do my hair, but I look back at like photos from college. I had no eyebrows. Like I don't know who stole them. They just weren't there. So I've just tried to. I watch all these like young, like 14-year-old girls on YouTube teach me how to do makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you got to learn something from the youth, you know?
Absolutely. Keep them going, for sure.
The makeup tutorial, by the way, is a little bit of a joke. You have to find Heather on social media because your Instagram is blowing up. In July, you had just over 200,000 followers.
Right.
Now you're over 400,000 followers. You've been on the Today Show 3 times. You have a tour that's selling out like crazy. What do you think it is about you and maybe this time in your life, Heather, that people are just so excited to be part of it?
You know, I've said this before, but I think with social media, I was always living my life very authentically. And, you know, I think at the social media game, everyone's like, oh, my life is perfect, it's flawless. But I kind of tell the opposite. You know, I'm just trying to be out there and live my truth. And it's taken off like wildfire.
And your impressions, too. We're seeing Ina Garten on the screen right now.
Barefoot contestant.
Absolutely hilarious. On any given night, pretty much a guarantee my boyfriend Brandon is in bed watching your videos, Heather. Where do these characters come from?
Well, some are original characters, and then some. I'm obsessed with like Pitbull. He's like, I'm one of his biggest fans.
Mr. 305.
Mr. 305. Ha ha, dale, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. Like to me, he's just such a joyful person. I want him to do the eulogy at my funeral because I just,
yes.
You know, it would just still be so hilarious and full of joy. He'd be like, ha ha, Heather's dead, but she looks good, dale. You know, I'm obsessed. Yeah,
I love it. Well, you know what? Let's just rewind for just a second because let's take it back to maybe 15, 18 months ago.
Right.
Where was Heather?
Heather was living in Atlanta at home with her mother. My dad passed it would be 4 years at Christmas, and I picked up my life in LA and I moved back home with my mom just to kind of figure out things and work through the grief. And it was really crazy. I was just really in a dark spot. I always wanted to stick with comedy, but I felt like I was a little defeated moving home to Atlanta. And then once I started really living my life on Instagram through the stories, it just kind of took off. And I realized there were so many other people that were going through the same thing as me, but once I talked about it in a cathartic way for myself, but in a humorous way, it just kind of took off. And now, you know, I live in New York. I got engaged this year. I'm doing a tour. I just feel richly blessed. It's been a great year.
It's been fantastic. Your story is incredible. And I love when we can showcase people that know what they want to do, just need to kind of find their way and find their moment. Because I think a lot of times maybe some people exit before their moment has come to them.
Right.
You know?
Well, I was also one of those kids. I just always knew what I wanted to do. And, you know, in this industry, all we are doing is basically convincing other people that we're ready for the job.
Right.
And I really do think it's just like time and place. You know, I went through something traumatic in my life, but I spun it in a way that I could talk about it and bring joy to other people's lives, kind of going through the nitty-gritty stuff. And it's taken off. So I'm just so grateful that people tune in.
You had said yesterday on one of your Instagram stories that it was so good to be back home in the South. And I know that Houston holds a very special place in your heart because your dad, when he was sick, he was treated here at MD Anderson.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody at MD Anderson. Truly some of the most incredible, just wonderful people in the world. I love them. You know, MD Anderson took us in with open arms. My dad, unfortunately, passed of pancreatic cancer, but I just feel so blessed to have been taking him to the best place and to have gotten the best treatment. And they were so wonderful to us. And the outcome wasn't great, obviously, but just I feel any way I can give back to MD Anderson, I just adored them.
And, you know, you are speaking volumes. There's so many people that can touch that, and I think too, laughter really does do something special to the soul.
Absolutely. I mean, even when I was going through the darkest times, the funniest things happen.
Right.
You know, God has a sense of humor. He just really likes to stir the pot when you're down. But some of my, and actually at the farewell tour, I talk a lot about what it was like to deal with my dad and kind of help him at MD Anderson. Just so many funny things happened out of that dark situation. But here I am today. You know, my dad always said, you can't control what happens to you in life. You can only control your attitude. So we have to laugh through the dark times and just keep going.
It is so true. Laugh when rats are chasing you in the subway in New York City.
Absolutely.
Right? Learned how to do that. Okay, so a lot of people might be wondering, you moved home to be with your mom, right? But you are in an 8-year relationship, essentially.
Yes.
Your fiance, you're getting married where, in Italy?
We're getting married in Italy.
What's the date so we can book our tickets?
Yeah, we're coming, right?
Late fall, don't you
Late
worry.
fall, okay.
Everyone's like, are you going to do a summer wedding in Italy? I'm like, no, Jeff is a large guy. I've got broad shoulders. We'll sweat. So we needed like a fall Tuscany moment. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I've been with the Italian stallion, is what I like to call him, Jeff Daniels. Hi, honey. Love you, miss
And
you.
it's exciting that even after 8 years of being with the same guy, it's sort of like you're having this new beginning in your relationship. Having moved to New York City, you're finally living together. Do you feel like all of this newness and the tour and your family and everything that's just blowing up, that's a lot to handle?
It is a lot to handle. There are days where I don't know what state I'm in. Like on the tour, I have to look at my producer, Chris, and go, Chris, where are we? You know? But, you know, it's just kind of a perfect storm. If I sat around at my mom's house for 3 years twiddling my thumbs, like, when's it going to happen? So the fact that things are clicking and we're cooking with gas is just awesome.
You know what's so great is you talked about this, about social media, like influencers. I want to get your take on influencers, because on social media, life is, you know, rainbows and butterflies, everything's perfectly cooked,
absolutely,
put together, organized.
Right.
And I got to tell you, you know, when I see that, it puts me in a spin, because my life is nothing like
Nobody's is.
I feel the exact same way. And somebody called me an influencer once, and I said, I don't think I influence anybody for good, only evil. Like, go out and have a second drink. But, you know, good for the people out there who go to the gym, you know, every day. I put on spandex and just kind of sit at my house and order Chipotle. But, you know, if you were... I sometimes follow a couple people for tips and tricks. You know, I like a life hack, if you will. But I definitely, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing half the days, you know?
It's just so funny that that's the world we live in today. Like, we're being influenced daily by complete strangers. I guess it's no different than ads running, but, I mean, it's just interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating to me, too. And then people have built full careers on it. I'm like, you know, live your best life.
Right?
It also seems like a family affair, because if you follow Heather on Instagram, which you must because she's hilarious, your mom is a big part of your Instagram life, your fiance is. So for them, I mean, it's one thing for you as a performer to handle all the fame and all of that. How is your fiance and how is your mom handling it?
Oh, let me just tell you right now, I have created monsters in both my fiance Jeff and my mother. At my show, it's funny, when I'm backstage, I can always hear the roar of the crowd when my mom or Jeff walks out, and people will send me videos of my mom just like striking a pose on stage. Like, she'll just like go up on stage before I come out just to have her moment. And Jeff will like just kind of hang out by the bar and like essentially hold his own meet and greet. I mean, they are in it. They would push me in front of a bus tomorrow if it meant they got to be the star of the show. So don't let anybody kid you. Okay, I'm over here trying to stay humble. All right.
Oh my gosh, that is so awesome.
So I know the show tonight is sold out at House of Blues. How do we get tickets? What's the secret to that? Sold out in 60 seconds.
We know
right?
people.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry. You might have to like hang out backstage by the meat and cheese plate, but I got you. Yeah.
So first of all, when are you coming back to Houston? In case people, you know, don't have tickets for tonight's show, when are you coming back? And also, what can people expect from the show tonight at House of Blues?
The show tonight, it's a mix. I mean, we are going to laugh. We are going to have a moment. You know, I introduced some of my characters on stage, but it's truly a 90-minute stand-up show. I came from the stand-up world and did improv and sketch, and so it's just, I'm really truly a storyteller. You know, I'm very self-deprecating, so it's just going to be 90 minutes of just sheer fun and giggles and honestly stupidity, because your girl's hosting, you know.
Right. Yeah. Let's do a little shout out to your bestie, Maria Shriver.
Maria Shriver, hey girl, hey. She sent me another DM the other day, and she's like, you know, good luck on tour. I'm like, who am I? I am friends with Maria Shriver. It's
And
nuts.
Joanna Gaines, by the way.
Okay, the craziest thing. So I was eating at one of my favorite places in Soho, and Joanna and Chip came in for lunch, and I didn't see them because they were sitting kind of behind me. And the next thing you know, Chip slides into my booth, and he's like, hey, I hear you're funny. And then it's like Joanna. I'm like, Chip and Joanna Gaines are approaching me. What is my life? I am so blessed. It's so nuts.
It's so incredible. And Maria's the one that said on Today's Show and basically said, Heather, message me, follow this girl. She's amazing and funny. And then boom.
Yeah, she said it on the show, and she's like, you guys should have her on. And then the next, like 30 seconds later, I get a phone call from the Today Show producers, and they're like, are you free Monday? I'm like, yeah, I think my schedule's open.
You might have to look at it.
Right.
Let me look and get back to you.
Right, so I got to co-host with Jenna Bush Hager, and then I got to co-host with Hoda. I truly just don't know what's happening. It's a whirlwind, and I'm just happy to be here.
It is interesting how things seem to be happening so fast for you, Heather.
Right.
And I mean, people talk about overnight successes, and they may look at the last 6 months of your life and say, hey, it happened overnight. But if you look at your YouTube channel, you have like character reels posted from 2012.
Yeah,
and
I feel like maybe I should take those down. They're probably not as professional as I
You
like
have got to leave them up.
Just follow me on Instagram.
But the bottom line is you have really spent a lifetime preparing for this moment in your career.
I mean, you know, I joke that my career, I've for the last like 10 years, I felt like a feral cat trying to like escape a shelter, you know? I've just been really hustling and working, and nobody sees behind the scenes when you're doing these comedy clubs and there's 3 people in the audience.
Right.
And I started my career in New York, then moved to LA, and then, you know, kind of tucked my tail and had to move home to Atlanta after my dad passed. But it was in those moments where I really kind of found who I was, and I found my voice and my point of view, and now we're just sharing it with the world. So it's definitely not an overnight success. Trust me, my mom will text me every morning. My Instagram count, she's like, you gained 2 today, but I expected you to gain 10. I'm like, okay, Mom.
I love that she's over there watching.
Yes, so everybody on my team constantly keeps me in check.
I think it's so great. And I love that having the support system within the family, too, is awesome.
Yeah.
And for your mom to see your success, that's incredible. Okay, we like to play a fun game here at Houston Life, a little rapid fire action.
Cool, let's do it.
Yeah, you want to get started, Dave?
Yeah, let's go for it. So we're going to put 1 minute on the clock.
Okay.
Quick questions, even quicker answers. Here we go. Counting down. Fries or tater tots?
Oh, both.
Okay.
Can you do both?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to mix it up.
This is your world, girl.
I want fries, tots, ranch dressing. Let's go.
Okay, perfect.
Great.
Okay, this one's going to be an answer, though. Biggest pet peeve?
When people don't give me an assertive handshake back. If you come in with like a fish hand, forget it. We're not doing business.
Don't like
Ooh,
it.
least favorite chore?
I'm terrible at ironing. Terrible.
Morning, noon, or night?
Oh, honey, noon, baby.
Heels or flats?
Heels.
How long does it actually take you to get ready?
15 minutes.
Do you snore?
For sure, yeah. Really? Yeah, like a freight train.
Giving presents or getting presents?
Oh, we're getting presents, always.
Okay, we're totally best friends.
Yeah.
Biggest fear?
Heights and rats.
Oh, well, it's a good thing you live in New York City.
Right?
Go-to dance move?
I like to bust down Tatiana. Yeah. Do you know the song Tatiana?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just bust down. You just drop down and get your eagle on.
Drop it low.
Yeah.
And get your eagle on?
Yeah.
What's
Okay, it's kind of a mixture. There's song Bust Down Tatiana, and then there's song Drop Down and Get Your Eagle On, where you just kind of, I don't know.
It's good.
I don't really get asked to go to do
real
appearances
good.
at nightclubs often, so.
Oh, my God.
On that note, let's drink.
Cheers.
Heather McMahan,
Heather,
you are an absolute joy.
Thank you for having me.
We are so proud of you, and we love all the success that you have, and come back and see us.
I would love to be back. Thank you for having me, Houston. This is awesome.
When are you back? Seriously, 6 months? A year?
Yeah, I say 6 months, and we're going to do a bigger theater, so, you know.
6 months, bigger theater,
Yes,
more
honey.
tickets available, and back on Houston Life, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.